Hey YouTube, I'm back. Sorry I haven't uploaded for a while, and I'm back with a new car. This is my 2001 Honda S2000 AP1. I recently picked it up for a good deal. It's a clean title, around 120,000 miles. It's completely stock when I got it, except for these AP2 V1 wheels. They're 17-inch, 245 rear, 215 front, Bridgestone SO4 tires. I guess this soft top is aftermarket too. Previous owner put it on. Has a glass window, and that was a deal breaker for me when looking at all the other AP1s. So I've always been a fan of the Honda S2000. Growing up playing Gran Turismo and watching the Jays Racing and Amuse S2000 and all of them on hot version Touge videos and Initial D. This has always been a car I've always wanted to own. To me, it's like the end game of all the small Japanese roadsters. I chose the AP1 mainly because honestly they're a lot cheaper than the AP2s. It also is known to be more of the raw version of the S2000 and what it was originally meant to be. The AP1, as the people have mentioned, is a lot twitchier than the AP2. I've driven some AP2s and they are a lot more tame than this one. This model year is known to have the thickest sway bars actually, and the rear sway bar, from what I read, was thicker in the rear than the front, which I thought was kind of rare for a factory car. Most cars are tuned to understeer from factory. So because of that, I actually put an aftermarket front sway bar to help put some more rear grip, and I'm sure you can tell the car is a little bit lowered. There it's on Bilstein PSS9 coilovers, which are probably the most expensive suspension I've ever bought, but they are well worth the money. From the outside, can't really tell I've done anything. I put this OEM style spoiler on it, and it also has a spoon N1 single exit exhaust. Goes all the way to the headers, straight through. I think it does have some power gains, but Honda did tune this car almost to the limit, squeezing out almost 240 horsepower from an NA 2-cylinder. So it's really hard to get any gains with bolt-ons unless you get a tune really. But besides that, it does save a ton of weight because the original exhaust was over 50 pounds, and it's really noticeable when you take it off and put the new spoon one on. So let's take a look at the interior. As many people on YouTube and everywhere mention, the S2000's interior is pretty plain, but by plain I have to say it's really driver focused, no distractions. Starting from the left, we have audio controls. I actually have an aftermarket sound system, and it's a Pioneer. What's really great about this system is it still works with the OEM controls over here. So I got volume up, down. This skips songs, and then the mute button, which no one mentioned, almost mutes the sound coming out of the sound system, and I basically use it just to hear the car going through tunnels and stuff. As you can see, this is AP1, revs to 9 grand. With that said, the car does drive around at a high RPM on the freeway. That's because it has this close ratio, amazing 6-speed manual gearbox. The 6th gear is not for cruising, I figured out. It's actually meant to be used completely, if possible, if like a straightaway is long enough on a track. Cruising around on the freeway, this is probably the worst MPG I've ever had. So here we, on the right of the steering wheel, have recirc button, AC, and then this. Here's a setting that people don't mention specifically. It's for when you're driving around convertible. It keeps the interior warm even when it's freezing out. As far as storage, you have like a net here, and you have center and the hidden compartment. Besides that, it's all stock. I do have this blue mirror because the S2000 is just that height where all the headlights hit you in the face and blind you from behind. So let's take a look at the engine bay. I also sanded the headlights and they're really clear. So in the engine bay, completely stock. Well, stock, I guess. I upgraded to a baffled oil pan and put AP2 oil jet bolts. That's because this early model 2001 F20C is known to have some oil starvation issues because it revs high, and it's the early model where they didn't figure out some stuff. This car is also known to drop valves because the valve spring retainers on the AP1 are known to crack due to mechanical over rev, but I don't plan on over revving anytime soon, and the previous owner showed me photos that they're not cracked. I do plan on upgrading the valve retainers soon, well, especially before I go track this and autocross and all that. Here we have my adjustable coilover dampening adjustment, and I'm not sure if you can see, there's the aftermarket sway bar. There's a lot of room actually to work on this engine, which is nice, especially when you remove this intake. The whole engine's completely behind the front suspension, and a lot of people consider this to be a front mid-engine as opposed to like an MR2, which is in the rear. As far as handling, this is probably the best handling car I've owned. The AP1 is known to be twitchy, and it is, but it is nothing compared to owning a turbo MR2, so I'm pretty confident when pushing this car around. As far as plans for what I want to do with this car, I do want to use it, like I said, as a weekend like autocross and track toy. So next mods would probably be those valve spring retainers, brakes. I do want to do aero, but the car looks so good with this OEM Plus look, so I'm a little bit hesitant. I do like that Amuse front bumper and a GT wing eventually, but we'll see. I do have 17x9 255 square wheels that I'll put on later in the summer. It's the winter right now. So we'll come around the back here and show you guys the trunk. The trunk's pretty small. There should be the trunk liner here, but I had to remove it to put the coilovers, and I figured there's a ton more room back here if you take out the spare tire, so I just left it out. Overall, it's been a good car, been really reliable, hasn't had any hiccups. It's almost boring that it doesn't have any issues. I'm used to the car having a little quirks all the time, but this one's been good so far. Anyways, look forward to some comparison videos. I still have that Miata, and my dad picked up a Toyota MR2 Spider, so look forward to maybe a 3-car Japanese Roadster comparison in the future. Probably do some driving impressions and an exhaust sound clip, and I plan on updating you guys with whatever I do with this one. Anyways, this is my new Honda S2000 AP1. Thank you for watching.